Yes, there's the answer. Or is it? The question that everyone tends to ask is if Gorilla Tag is dying or not. Well, it's honestly very hard to come up with a clear answer, but today we're going to look into a few potential answers or reasons as to why I could say it's dead or not. First, we have general in-game player base. In this case, I would say the player base is more alive than it has ever been. And before you say that the players themselves are the biggest reason the game is quote-unquote dead, that's the community, and trust me, we'll get into that. But in terms of how big the game is and the player count, the game is very much alive. The next topic is one that the community as a whole seems to be very divided on, that being I personally think there was a great argument for both, so I'm going to look into them. First is that content creation is alive. This argument can be proven because more people are wanting to get into content creation than ever, and a lot of small content creators are finding mainstream fame. It could also be that the explosion of Blender use, whether it's for animation or thumbnails, has revolutionized the game. I believe the argument that the content creation is dead comes mainly from the fact that almost every content creator now is either ghost hunting, making brain rot shorts, or copying J-Man Curly. Starting with ghost hunting, I want to mention that any creators I mention do not deserve to be harassed or hated on. I am just using them as an example, like Be Prepared. Their massively popular videos are almost always the exact same thing with a different brain rot or popular analog horror creature. Almost every single one of their videos is the same scripted and edit carried content in the Gorilla Tag scene right now. Next, making brain rot shorts. This is honestly what I think is the worst thing in the content scene right now, as YouTube shorts are already bad enough for the young Gorilla Tag scene, but integrating a very hated game with a very hated topic, brain rot, and a hated platform is a formula not only making unoriginal and lazy content, but destroying a content creator's mental health behind the scenes. Lastly for this topic is how unoriginal people are with their videos. It seems that every time one of the major content creators makes a new idea, game mode or ghost, everyone seems to copy and milk that idea. Not to be one of those people that say old Gorilla Tag is better, but if you look at the content creators back then, even small ones, they were making original ideas, without having to rely on another Axiom or the larger creators to make a new idea. For example, the YouTuber Ryguy9977 made a video called When Gorilla Tag Gets Scary, made 4 years ago before PBBV even came out. But this video wasn't even recognized until SmokeVR made his video on it, thus bringing attention to it. But even though the video probably got like 100 views or so until SmokeVR made his video 3 years later, that likely wasn't the focus. The focus was mainly to show off a scary modder and them just having fun, not for the money or the views or the fame. With Ryguy now being credited as one to create ghosts, this shows that bigger content creators don't always have to make the ideas. It can be a guy with like 100 subs. Second to last, we have the Gorilla Tag community and players as a whole. This is what I believe to be the biggest contributor to the question of this video. For a while now, the community as a whole has been considered to be the worst community in the VR and maybe even gaming scene. And with how recognized the game has become for only having streaming kids and racist 13-year-olds, most people would say that this alone is why Gorilla Tag is considered dead. I really haven't seen any innovative branches of the community in a long time, except for the Blender creators such as SmokeVR, Nolan, Shade, Sunny, JTS Films, and Notmaster, just to name a few. I really can't believe there is nothing in Gorilla Tag since We Are VR that has brought up the reputation of the game. It's really gotten to the point where people just get bullied for having fun and being good at the game. Lastly, the game itself with the updates, moderators, and content creator program. I wouldn't say that this part of the game is dead, as Gorilla Tag updates are more frequent than ever. More people are being able to get finger painter, and there are a ton of force guides and moderators help.
I got 100 on my dash, got 200 in my trunk. Name in the grab bags, put my Bible in the trunk. Like a vodka on the top of my binocular, I'm drunk. How can make a popular? Pop 'em when I want. See, I'm living with anxiety, ducking that sobriety. Fucking up the system, I ain't fucking with society.